Warning, those in charge of the money supply have no idea what comes next. Now, they have no shortage of answers to tell us of what comes next. They have lots of predictions about inflation or deflation or the economy or no recession in our lifetime and so much more. But it seems like almost everything they predict comes wrong. Like to the opposite, as a matter of fact. So I have this chart that I was looking at, and I thought we'd just jump in and make a video about this real quick, where I can show you what they've been saying and how it's all been the opposite, but what they're saying now and how they're pivoting the story, and hint, it's not good. So let's go ahead and just jump right in. So if you can look at my screen right here, the first thing I have up is this chart. And basically what this is a chart of economists, PhDs and people that run the financial system of the United States that are supposed to know what they're doing, these economists, and they keep expecting U.S. inflation to subside. As a matter of fact, they've been saying it over and over and over again. And we can see here 2021, this white line, and here in the blue line was economists' expectations in January of 2021. And you can see they expected it to go up a little bit at the end of the year and then come back down and then level off. That obviously didn't happen. So then they started going up again. You see in this orange line, well, then in April of 2021, they said, okay, now it's going to start tapering off and then it will taper down. And then that didn't happen and the white line kept going up. And then we had in July of 2021, again, okay, now it's definitely, we've hit our peak. It's coming down. October 21, January 2022. And now they're saying it's going to come down. So as we can see, they've been wrong over and over and over again. Of course, the inflation went from it's not, we can't get enough, to it's not a problem, we can manage it, to it's just transitory, to oh shoot, it's a problem. And now we're actually seeing something different. So we have this story right here. Janet Yellen warns us now that inflation is likely to stay high. So now they're like, okay, we can't get it. We're obviously been wrong over and over again, and now I guess it's just going to stay high. That's what they said. And so if we look at this, we can see here the cost of living, that inflation is likely to stay high. A surge in the cost of living and inflation is likely to stay high, and that she ought not to have termed big price increases as transitory. So she went on to say that I guess Jerome Powell, head of the Federal Reserve, I guess we shouldn't have used that word. I guess we shouldn't have said transitory. Maybe they should have used a different word like permanent or never going away, something like that. But here she said we probably shouldn't have used that word transitory. But you see, they're trying to manipulate us. They're trying to get us to see something. It's called gaslighting. And this term gaslighting came up from some, I think, old play where the husband was trying to tell the wife that the lights weren't really coming on, the gas lights weren't coming on, even though they were. I forget the exact story, but basically telling her what you're seeing and what you think isn't true, even though it was. And so that's what that term gaslighting comes. And so that's what these people are doing to us. They're telling us what you see. No, it's really not like that. It's not permanent. It's transitory. They're gaslighting us. And now they're changing. I guess we probably shouldn't have used that word, or maybe they shouldn't have lied to us. And we can see on here that she acknowledged once again that both she and Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell erred in 2021 by forecasting that high inflation wouldn't persist. Again, both of us probably could have used a better term than transitory. So is that because they've now been caught up in this lie where they have no other choice? We can see that here, Republican John Barrasso of Wyoming questioned Yellen's credibility, given that last year she had termed inflation as manageable. So it's a good question. It's a really good question. If Jerome Powell and Janet Yellen and the other 450 PhD economists that the Fed employs and the 150 researchers they employ with all the best tools and all the best data, if they can't predict it correctly, if they can't say, hey, this inflation is going to be here because we printed way too much money, and all this money printing has now a demand push, all this money's created more demand for a limited supply of goods, and that's going to push prices up, and because of the regulations that we put in place, it's going to reduce the supply. Janet Yellen says they got caught off guard. I guess we didn't think through the implications of the coronavirus pandemic. Well, she was saying this almost 2 years into it. What do you mean you didn't take that into consideration? You didn't take into consideration, in her own words, the implications full implications of all that money and what it would do. And so the question I would ask is the same question that Republican John Barrasso is asking, which is her credibility. Because it seems like everything she has been saying has been completely wrong. She said here, you can see, a year ago, she said anticipation inflation would be a, quote, small risk. It'd be manageable and, quote, not a problem. So here we have the Treasury Secretary, the most powerful person when it comes to U.S. financial policy, saying it'd be small risk, is manageable, it's not a problem. We have no recessions coming. And she's wrong. So she's either one, incompetent, or two, she's a liar. It's either being done evilly or they can't do it. And either one, in my opinion, tells me she's not qualified for this job. You can see here in an interview with CNN's Wolf Blitzer on Tuesday, she admitted she had misjudged the threat inflation posed. Now, I'm a nobody talking to you on a YouTube channel. I've been telling you the threat that this money printing would have, these policies would have. I've been telling you this for years. Go back and check the videos. I've been talking about it nonstop. Here we have the Treasury Secretary, and they misjudged it. There have been unanticipated and large shocks to the economy that have boosted energy and food prices, Yellen told Blitzer, and supply bottlenecks that affected our economy badly that I didn't at the time fully understand, end quote. So if you give people a bunch of money so they don't want to work anymore, and then you also push mandates into forcing them to take experimental medicines they don't want, so they quit, what do you think happens? It creates supply bottlenecks. When you increase the money supply so it creates more demand for goods that we don't have, what does that do? It creates supply bottlenecks. When you have supply bottlenecks, prices go up. When you put policies into place to shut down investments into energy, natural gas, oil, you get less of that. If you get less of that, what happens? The prices go up. If you tell farmers not to plant on part of their land and you subsidize or even mandate what they have to grow, it leads to shortages. What happens when shortages happen? Prices go up. Look, come on. This is elementary. A third grader could tell you what is going on here. To have the leader of the financial policy in the United States, the Treasury Secretary, telling you, I didn't at that time fully understand. I mean, really? Are we going to accept that? Let's go ahead and take a look at this other chart that I have right here. So now the inflation outlook. Let's take a look at this. So the bright green line that we're looking at here is the German inflation rate. And as you can see from 2021 to today, it's almost straight up vertical. The horizontal gray line going across at the number 2 is their goal. They would like it to be at about 2%. Now, as you can see from 2011 to 2016, it went down, was way below their goal. Then from 2017 to 2020, it kind of tracked along their goal. Then it fell well below their goal and now way over their goal. It sort of looks like they have no control over what this is, or they either have no control or they're really, really bad at controlling it. Either way, because it barely spends any time in line with their goals. Now, the number, the way they report this, their CPI or CPI, allows them to manipulate it and show you whatever the number they want. So they can only manipulate it so much, of course, we'll know. And so between them being able to manage it plus being able to manipulate the data, they can't even keep it on their goal. Now, what else do we have on the chart? The red line, that's the Bundesbank forecast for 2021. They forecasted it would be there in 2021. But, of course, it's way higher. The blue line, that was their forecast in 2022. Well, we're higher than that. The pink line and the yellow line are for 2023 and 2024. We'll see when we get there where we're at. But what would be your guess? If I showed this to a third grader and I said, well, this was their previous two guesses, the red and the blue line, do you think the odds of them getting 2023 and 2024 are right? I would have to say that history would probably tell us no. I want to show you this other video here. Christine Lagarde, she's the head of the ECB, European Central Bank, previously of the IMF, a convicted criminal, by the way, I'll tell you that. She runs this ECB, and she was asked here about the balance sheet and what's going to happen. Let's go ahead and just play this video right here.
There is this graph about the balance sheet of the European Central Bank and the money that is on there now. And here it is. What I would like to show our viewers and ask the question about is, this is going over 8 trillion euros now. Mm-hmm. And isn't what you just told us about the cryptocurrencies, don't we see a gigantic bubble here on your balance sheet with the euro? And isn't this graph very nerve-wracking?
Well, I can tell you that there is 0 crypto assets in the balance sheet of the ECB.
That I know.
Point number one. Well, I just don't want any ambiguity about it.
Yeah.
But you have to think in terms of counterfactual. If we had not decided on March 18th, when we put together the pandemic emergency program and then subsequently increased the volume of commitment that we made to the European Union economies, we would be in a devastated situation. So I don't regret any of that move that we took on that day, which was 4 months into my job, to significantly increase the size of the balance sheet, because that's all we had.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the economy would have collapsed, and it would have been even accelerated by a financial crisis.
You had to do it. It was
So
the COVID crisis. You say that's what we
Yes.
needed to do. But how do you get it?
it will
back?
come. It will come. In due course. Yeah.
How?
In due
How?
course, it will come.
Yeah?
No,
But do you
because I
sleep
will-
at night when you see this?
Of course, I have to sleep at night, and I have to worry every morning. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Over here.
I was wondering, do you own any cryptos yourself?
No, I don't, because I want to practice what I preach.
And then
I know how
obviously
it works, and I actually have a son who invested in cryptos. Yes, so I follow very carefully
And what have you taken away from that?
that I would not put my finger in there.
And he didn't listen to your advice?
No,
No.
he's a free man.
He is, yeah. Did he lose a lot?
He wouldn't tell me.
All right, so there you have it. She's getting clowned, if you will, being called out by people in the audience and saying, wow, that balance sheet looks like it goes straight up. What's the plan? They have no plan. Oh, it's going to come down. Well, can you tell me how? No, but it's just going to come down. So they want to tell us that they can manage the economy and they know where this is going, but clearly they can't. She doesn't even have an answer. She can make fun of other jokes. Of course, she can tell us other things about climate change, which she has no experience on. But the things she does have experience on, she has no control over. And that's the state of the world today. We can look at this, and this right here kind of sums it up for me. This clown world. We talk about clown world all the time. So we see here, back May 2020, inflation is only a remote risk. It's only a remote risk. It probably is not going to happen. Maybe potentially, but probably a remote risk. April 27, 2021, Bank of Canada, unfazed by short-term inflation rates. November 7th, high inflation is transitory, but it's short-lived, so don't worry. Don't worry. It's going to go away. November 15th, will inflation be a horror or a healthy readjustment? Economists clash over the basics. And then in December, Trudeau isn't causing inflation, but climate change might be. So ultimately, when you have no control and you have no answers and you can't fix anything and all the blame is pointing on you, what do? Deflect. Oh no, it's Putin's fault. It's the Putin price hike. It's because of the war on Ukraine. I've shown you many times the charts of the price of oil and natural gas and gasoline had already been skyrocketing long before the invasion of Ukraine happened. It's climate change. Well, then we can just blame it on something that we have no way to prove or disprove, and so that works as well, which is also probably the reason why all these people are unexpectedly dropping dead. Apparently, climate change is doing that as well. So these are the people that I guess we've elected to run our financial system. The way that I see it is there shouldn't be anybody that can control the supply of money, increasing it and decreasing it arbitrarily, changing the interest rates, changing the booms, changing the bus, so you and I go broke. But what do you think? Do you think it's about taking it from the hands of some corrupt people and give it to other people who maybe won't be as corrupt, at least not right now? Or is the answer to take it out of the hands of the people altogether? Of course, that's where I stand. Separation of money and state. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. Of course, as always, give me a thumbs up on this video if you like it. And if you're not already subscribed, click on that subscribe button so you know when I put new videos out. If you don't like the video, that's okay. You can give me a thumbs down, but at least leave me a comment and let me know why. And that's what I got for you today. All right, to your success. I'm out. Since you've stayed to the end, I know you like this video, which means you're probably going to really like this video right here and this video right here.